Whether you agree or not, Oda will definitely end One Piece within the next few years. So have you ever wondered who each of the Straw Hat members will end up with? At the end of the day, nobody can escape the law of Mother Nature. All savage animals need to rub the its accumulated in their stick and hole, regardless of how big, small, deep, dry or wet it may be. Not to mention, each of the Straw Hat members are the most savage of animals, so they definitely cannot escape the Newtonian laws of clap traction. In this video, we'll dive in deep, both metaphorically and literally, and find out the best possible partners for each Straw Hats who are worthy enough to give and receive their savage pounding, with the prize being the seed, the next generation, two-piece candidates. So grab your popcorns and fasten your undergarments tight, because this is going to be one hell of a wet and wild ride. Okay, let's start from the newest to oldest Straw Hats. Jinbe is a man of few words, but immense strength and loyalty. But when it comes to matters of the heart, Jinbe remains a mystery. The only female who people even theorize is Nojiko, just because they think the person who let Arlong go and the person who was affected by Arlong the most would seem good together. So that's literally the only person for Jinbe that actually makes a little sense in a way. This does seem logical because Nojiko has already had a taste of Arlong, so I'm pretty sure she would be more than happy to get her kitty hole pounded by the bigger and stronger Jinbe. But hey, let's not rule out other possibilities. Maybe Jinbe is not interested in normal physical females. So what do I mean by this? We know Jinbe loves nature and the sea, so who better to end up with other than the sea itself? Yes, you heard it right. Jinbe might just end up marrying the vast ocean and giving Mother Sea all his blessings. After all, she has been his lifelong companion and has pretty much had a 360 view of Jinbe from the top of his head to the bottom of his massive balls. But let's add a twist. What if Jinbe, in a surprising turn of events, falls in love with a mermaid? Maybe 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛𝚒, Jinbe himself, is hiding a weapon down below. So who better to end up with than the ancient weapon itself? Also, 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢𝚛 is humongous. She rejected Vanderdecken because she knew his stick is microscopic compared to her infinite black hole. Jinbe, on the other hand, is larger and is capable of using Haki and Freshman Karate to extend his already ginormous dong. And if we are feeling a bit more imaginative, why not pair Jinbe with someone unexpected like Kokoro, the old train conductor from NS Lobby? She might be on the ugly side, but she's mature, and Jinbe is also mature. I'm pretty sure lonely Kokoro has been starving for something strong and mature coming her way. So their shared love for the sea and naughty adventures could blossom into something truly unique and heartwarming. Next up is Brook, the living skeleton with a heart of gold and a love for music that transcends time. Now, when it comes to Brook's romantic kinks, one might assume that a skeleton has little interest in matters of the heart. But hold your judgment, because Brook's love story is one of the most unexpected and earth-shattering tales in the Grand Line. Yes, you heard it right. Brook, with his charming demeanor and impeccable sense of style, is destined to marry none other than, drumroll please, Laboon, the giant whale from Grand Line. Now, you might be scratching your head and wondering, how can a big-boned skeleton and a whale possibly find love? The bond between Brook and Laboon transcends species and defies all odds, proving that true love knows no boundaries. And let's not forget Laboon's unwavering loyalty and love for Brook. At this point, you might be wondering, isn't this a bit unnatural? A skeleton boning a whale? Well, let me tell you, in the world of One Piece, anything is possible. Also, Brook is an embodiment of unnatural because he's a living dead. Their wedding and love-making ceremony would be a sight to behold, with sea creatures from all corners of the ocean coming together and holding their own bone to celebrate their boneful union. Moving on, we meet Frankie, the cyborg with a heart of gold, muscles of steel and dong of diamond. Now, when it comes to matters of the heart, Frankie's love life is as colorful as his signature hairstyle. While some fans like to match him with Robin, it seems their connection might be more explosive than romantic, especially considering Robin has clearly shown open hate towards Frankie's whole personality, from his speaking tone and voice to his weird outfits. But fear not, because when there is a snake, there is always a rabbit hole, and Frankie's love life is about to get a whole lot more super. So who could be a good match for the super hard dong himself? Well, let's explore some unusual options, shall we? Frankie, with his larger-than-life personality and attraction for all things mechanical, was already caught in a love triangle with none other than Mojo and Kiwi, the dynamic duo from Water 7. Their relationship might have started as a simple rivalry over Frankie's attention, but as they spent more time together, things definitely must have gotten dripping wet and irresistible passions definitely ignited. Frankie is great at multitasking, so instead of choosing between Mojo and Kiwi, he's more than enough to handle both of them at once. Not to mention, the fact that he's a cyborg gives him an upper edge over other average men, as down below he could literally upgrade it to attach and detach as many sticks as he wants. Also, think about the infinite options he could try out. Even Robin might be jealous and disguise herself as one of Kiwi and Mojo to get a taste of Frankie's royal highness. Speaking of Robin, when it comes to love, people have different ideas about who she should be with. Some think she's a good match with Zoro because he's always watching out for her like a big brother. But the way I and many other fans saw it was that he was watching her because she was a minority. But after the time skip, minority hunter Zoro stopped putting on his protective act because mysteriously Robin turned into Michael Jackson because she had a glow up. I mean, her dark skin literally glowed up. If Zoro is not compatible to satisfy Robin, what other options has she got? Thankfully, there's another guy in the mix, Law, the quiet surgeon with a dark side. They both have a knack for saying creepy stuff, which some fans think is a sign they'd make a great couple. Plus, they're both super smart, so they could have some seriously deep conversations. But here's the dilemma, Robin is not picky. She's open to getting cozy with either Zoro or Law as long as they can satisfy her. Now that Zoro has accepted Robin, and because of his force sword style, he holds an upper edge over Law, so who knows what might happen in the future. Next up, we meet Robin's cute little healer friend, Chopper. With him, when it comes to his love life, things are a bit unconventional to say the least. Now, some fans think Chopper's destined to be with Milky the Milker, the sweet reindeer who's stolen his heart and his milk. And hey, I can see why. They're both reindeer, they share a love for adventure, and they just seem to click. But here's where it gets interesting. Some fans speculate Chopper might just live out his days satisfying the itches of both Nami and Robin. I mean, what desperate female wouldn't want a massage with happy ending from a cute little reindeer with biggest and hardest of horns? Not to mention, he can transform into multiple forms, so he is literally an all-in-one buffet for all the dong-hungry deviants out there. But at the end of the day, whether it's with Milky, Robin, Nami, or all of the above, one thing's for sure, Chopper's love life is as unpredictable as the Grand Line itself. Next is Sanji, the smooth-talking, pervy chef who aims to pound all the ladies. But his love life, well, that's a recipe for disaster, especially when he's a mega perv and is always putting others before himself. Now, some fans put him with Nami, but let's get real, crew romances are no-go, and Oda explicitly stated this in an interview, so who else might catch his eye? First, there is Vivi, the princess. Imagine Sanji, the prince of cooking, marrying the princess of Alabasta. It is like a fairy tale, but with more spice. Then there is Viola, the knockout beauty, who made Sanji forget about the crew for a hot minute. But let's face it, that's a long shot. From what Oda stated, it is a fact that Doflamingo has already put his hot flamingo inside Viola's dripping wet rabbit hole. And finally, we are Pudding. Sure, their relationship got off to a rocky start, but deep down, Pudding really cares for Sanji and is eager to taste his immaculate cooking from down below. Plus, she's one of the few girls who treats him like an actual person, not just a meal ticket. Maybe there's hope for these two crazy kids after all, but regardless, whether it's Vivi, Viola or Pudding, one thing's for sure, Sanji is always ready to give his all. That includes everything from his heart to his you know what, especially when it comes to the ladies. Moving on, we meet Usopp, the brave sniper with a talent for tall tales and an even bigger heart and an even longer sniper, both on his face and between his legs. For Usopp, when it comes to his love life, things are a bit more straightforward. Thanks to his long-standing affection for Kaya. Yep, you heard it right. Usopp's got eyes for one lady, and that's Kaya. They go way back and their bond runs deeper than the Grand Line. If you think otherwise, well, you're just plain wrong. Picture this. Usopp, the hero of the Straw Hat crew, returning from Laugh Tale to his hometown of Syrup Village to sweep Kaya off her feet and pound her till his heart's content. It is a love story for the ages with plenty of twists. turns, and maybe even a few strange positions along the way. Sure, they might not have had the smoothest journey to romance, but the deep connection is undeniable. From childhood friends to something more, Usopp and Kaya's love story is as sweet, wet and gushy as a syrup. On to Nami, the thick, savvy navigator with a knack for navigating both the seas and the hearts of other men. When it comes to romance, she's kept her cards close to her humongous chest, showing little interest in any potential suitors, but that doesn't stop fans from speculating about who might win her big ziggly heart. Now, some might not be fans of crewmates getting together, but I know most of you out there agree it is hard to beat the Nami and Luffy duo, although Oda tries his best not to induce any speculations of crew romance. He himself has included many hints in the story which suggest this deep bond. Hear me out. During the whole Arlong Park ordeal, when everyone was doubting Nami's loyalty, Luffy stood by her side, unwavering in his belief in her. He didn't need to know her backstory to know she's a good person, and that kind of trust is pretty rare. Remember when Nami was at her lowest, scared and helpless? Luffy did something pretty special. He gave her his most prized possession, his hat, his treasure, and in return, Nami gave him something too, her trust. And after he defeated Arlong off screen, she probably gave him her fat plump cheeks, something which she refuses to give to any other men. Now, when Luffy arrived at Joe, who was the first person Nami hugged and embraced them in between her big smooth globes? You guessed it, Luffy. And rumor has it, whenever Oda brings up kings and queens, it is always portrayed as Luffy and Nami. Coincidence? I think not. Only a king like Luffy with incredible size and flexibility is capable of navigating the deep depths of a big-hearted queen like Nami. Incoming is Zoro, the badass swordsman with a dream and a dong as big as his biceps. When it comes to love, he's kept all four of his swords sharp and his heart guarded, but that has not stopped fans from speculating about who might catch his eye. First up, we have Perona. They seem to hit it off during the time skip, with Perona even acting as Zoro's guide to make sure he and his swords didn't get lost and were navigated in the right tunnel. Next, we have Tashiki. She's got a striking resemblance to Zoro's childhood girlfriend, Kuina, and he always seems a bit nervous and awkward around her. Plus, their paths are destined to cross again, especially since she wants all four of his swords, especially his fourth blade, his only black blade. But the top contender, in my humble opinion, is thick Bond Hiyori. After Zoro saved her life, she showed her gratitude by tending to his wounds and even spending the night with him, sleeping and riding on top of his humongous chest. And let's not forget, she literally gave him Enma, one of the strongest blades in the world, passed down from the legendary Oden himself. Zoro even risked his neck to save her again from Kamazo, despite Sanji's objections. The idea of Zoro, the future greatest swordsman, being with Hiyori, the daughter of the legendary Oden, is a match made in sword fighting heaven. So whether it's with Perona, Tashiki or Hiyori, one thing's for sure, Zoro's love life is as unpredictable as his swordsmanship, and I can't wait to see what new deep tunnel he gets lost into. And last but not least, we have Luffy, the fearless captain with a hunger for adventure as big as his appetite. When it comes to love, he's got his sights set on the ultimate quest, becoming the Pirate King. Now, let's be real, the top contender for Luffy's meat is Boa Hancock. Despite starting off on rocky ground, Boa has bent head over heels for Luffy, and a love for him knows no bounds. But here's the thing, Luffy has not shown much interest in Boa. Sure, he acknowledges her as a friend, but he's never really shown any romantic feeling towards her. Maybe he's not ready to give the Snake Princess his anaconda yet. And let's not forget that time with Bon Clay, Luffy seemed pretty happy to see Nami, if you catch my drift. But who knows, maybe in time, Luffy will learn to love Boa the way she loves him. After all, he's not one to be tied down by rules or conventions. And hey, if anyone can change his mind, it is Boa Hancock. But now, Luffy's got his sights set on one thing, and one thing only, becoming the Pirate King. Love and marriage are the furthest things from his mind at the moment, but who knows what the future holds. Maybe once he achieves his dream, he'll learn to use his awakened rubber powers and conquer the deep holes of all the thirsty ladies. So whether it's with Boa or Nami, one thing's for sure, Luffy's love life is as unpredictable as the stiffness down below, and I can't wait to see what new hot kitty he aims to pound and conquer next. That's it for today guys. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe and clap that bell. I'm out. Adios.